Alright, so let's talk about Concurrent React. This is one of those terms that sound super academic, but if you've ever typed in a search bar and felt the app lag, you've already felt the problem that concurrency is trying to solve. So the problem with old React is that everything used to render synchronously. So once it started rendering, React was like, don't talk to me, I'm busy. And your app was basically frozen until React finished its work. Typing into an input during a heavy render, good luck with that. That's why your keystroke sometimes felt sluggish. React was too busy painting your giant component tree to care about your key press. So concurrent React is React saying, hey, not all updates are created equally. Typing into an input is supposed to be an urgent update. Rendering a big list of items can actually wait. It's not that urgent. So now React can actually pause rendering, handle urgent updates first, and then pick up where it left off. React now behaves like a well-scheduled multitasker. So how exactly is React prioritizing all of this work? This is actually the fun part. Internally, React assigns priorities to tasks. So earlier when I mentioned about input changes, this is considered as a very high priority task by React. If there's any animation frames, that also React treats as a medium to high priority event. Data fetching or rendering lists, on the other hand, that React considers as low priority. And if React is in the middle of rendering something heavy, but you type in a character, it can literally drop the old work and restart fresh with a new input. That's why the UI feels buttery smooth. So what about developers? Do they have to do anything to enable this? Not really. You don't really have to flip on concurrent mode anymore. It's built into React 18. So you get a lot of features out of the box like use transition, use deferred value, suspense, even automatic batching of updates that React does. So it essentially groups multiple state changes together into one render. All of that happens behind the scenes automatically with React 18. I've already got detailed videos on use transition and use deferred value, so I won't repeat myself here. Links are in the description if you want to get an overview on those two hooks. So let's actually take an example. The search box is always going to be my favorite example, so let's go with that. Without concurrency, when you type in into this search box, React is going to re-render results immediately and your typing might feel laggy. Anytime you try to type in something, because it's going to re-render the view while you are typing in, there's a good chance that your typing event might be blocked because of this re-render operation. Now with concurrency in place, when you type in something inside that text field, the text now is going to show up instantly and React is going to update the results when it can. So your application is going to feel fast even if the rendering is actually happening later. But that is also the key point here. Your application feels fast. Concurrent rendering doesn't mean React in general is faster. Your code is still going to take the same amount of time. It just feels faster because React is now rearranging the work. It's reprioritizing what should happen earlier so that the user feels as if the app is snappy. It internally knows what all things make the UX better and based on that assigns higher priority to that task. Also, concurrent rendering means your components might render more often or even get abandoned mid-render. That's why React actually recommends you to keep your components pure. Do not rely on side effects inside a render because React might actually throw that render away and restart completely. So if I take you through a quick history lesson, React 15 is when there was no concurrency. Everything used to render synchronously. React 16 is when Fiber got introduced under the hood. And this is essentially what enabled all of the concurrent features. React 18 is when we finally got concurrent features as developers, like the use transition and use deferred value hook, and we can manually implement some part of it in our application. So concurrency is kind of a feature layer built on top of React Fiber's architecture. So yeah, concurrent React is all about making apps feel smooth by prioritizing user interactions over heavy rendering. It's no magic, to be honest, it's just smarter scheduling. If you really want to see it in practice, check out my videos on use transition and use deferred value. They're the best ways to actually experience concurrency in your code. And if this video helped you in any way, do like the video, do subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.